What's up, guys? It is 11:49 a.m. Central Time in the States on Saturday as I do this video. I have a little break in work where I can talk for a minute. I really don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but I fully intended on eventually coming on and giving my take on the Terence Crawford WBC situation. Of course, I had some fun with the song that I made, and I remixed it and all that, and I made the song coming from Mauricio's perspective. I basically became him and responded to what Crawford said. All right, that was fun. That was, the song, entertainment, whatever. All right, but let's be serious for a minute. All right. As I do this video, Bernie the Boxer is live talking about this situation. All right. I like Bernie. I like Crawford, Bomac. I like all these guys, man. I'm not gonna call anybody names, nothing like that. All right, I'm just gonna keep it real and be honest and mature about the situation. As mature as I can be. All right, guys. So Crawford is 1,000% wrong in this situation. I don't care if I, like you, if I'm a fan of you, which I am. This ain't some Trav is bitter because he felt Canelo would win shit, or Trav picked Spence, which I did not pick Spence. I picked Bud, and I have the video up to prove that. All right, and posted the winning bet slips. All right, guys, I can be a fan of you, I can like you, but if you're wrong, you're wrong, and I'm gonna say you're wrong. All right. I'm not a yes man. I'm not gonna agree with everything that somebody does who I like. All right. Terence Crawford is wrong in the situation. He should have paid his sanctioning fees like all of the other boxers in boxing have done. People bring up the Miguel Cotto situation from years ago, how he didn't pay or whatever, didn't want to pay. He let that be known before the fight, and the WBC did not sanction the fight. He did not, fight for their title or whatever. All right, so that's the difference with Cotto. You cannot compare those two situations. All right, if Crawford had a problem with the sanctioning fee, he should have said that shit up front, but he did not. All right, he went along with like he was gonna pay, did not disagree to their percentage, their fee, had to fight, and now don't want to pay. Now the WBC is a bit wrong in this. If I was them and the guy had stiffed me on $100,000 from the previous fight, I would not have sanctioned the Canelo fight until he paid, and then I would have told him he had to prepay for Canelo. All right, so I would have got my money up front, what he already owed me and what he would owe for a Canelo fight. All right, so they made a mistake there. They trusted the guy. All right, and it backfired. You fought for these people title. They sanctioned the fight when they did not have to. Gave you the opportunity to become undisputed, because if they didn't sanction the fight, if the belt was not on the line, that would not have happened. All right, he got to fight for that and won it. And in return, you're gonna stiff them on their feet. Bernie the Boxer's out here talking about they think that they can get more than other sanctioning bodies, and they think that they better, and this, that, and the other. It's not that Crawford didn't say that he wasn't going to pay. He just didn't want to pay what they wanted to pay. Well, that's their right. That's their sanctioning body. That's the fee that they set. If that's what they want, that's what you should pay. All right? They don't have to follow what the IBF, the WBA, and WBO does. That's not how this shit works. Does Walmart have to price match Dollar General? Do they have to have everything priced as low as Dollar General? No. Hell no. What are we talking about here? That's not what has to happen. Man, this is a bad look, man. This is embarrassing for black men. I normally don't talk race on my channel in my videos, but Terence Crawford is a worldwide famous black man, American black man, and doesn't this feed into stereotypes? You can't trust them. They won't pay. They're cheap. They'll stiff you on the bill. All these kind of things, man. They're tight. They're not gonna be a man of their word. Just feed into the stereotypes. It's a bad look, man. This is a bad look. Be a man of your word, pay up. You know, pay like Floyd did, like Tyson did, like Oscar De La Hoya did. You know, all these boxers throughout the history of boxing, man, will fall for the WBC. You know, and pay the sanctioning fees. I have not heard any news that Canelo disagreed to paying what he owed. Has that come out? I hadn't heard that. You know, a bad look for Crawford, for his team, for black men. All right. That's how I feel about it, man. You know, these guys can say what they want. Crawford has hurt his reputation, his image over $400K when he made ballpark $50 million, according to Mauricio. All right. You know, that's incredibly sad to me, man. Incredibly sad. Lost his undisputed status over $400,000. You know, to us, to the common man that ain't making millions of dollars, that seemed like a lot of money. But I tell you something, if somebody gave me a $50 million deposit in my account, I'm not gonna be sweating a $300K fee. I'm like, that's it? That's all you want? Okay, cool. They discounted him on the 3%. 3% would have been $1.5 million. That's in their rules and their fee. They discounted him 0.6%, not even a full percent, not 1%, 0.6%, which came out of $300K, and he refused to pay the shit, man. When you made millions and millions and millions of dollars in this fight. You know, I think that's it, guys. I really can't talk much longer. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time on this. This is a bad look, man, for Crawford, for his team, you know, for black men. And I bet there might be some people on his team that feel like he should pay. And maybe tell him that, you know. Hopefully somebody has the balls to tell him that and not feel like they're going to get cut out or whatever, or feared or whatever. You know, tell it like it is, man. Be a man of your word. Live up to your contract. I'm pretty sure it was in the contract. I don't think that they had to fight and they say, oh, but you know what? All of a sudden, this is what we want you to pay. You know? I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. I will never agree to this. You know, whether I like Crawford or not. I'm going to tell it like it is, man. And no, you should have paid that money. You know, his live was classless. And then Mauricio comes out the next day, nothing but class, doesn't run Crawford down. Say we wish him the best. They talked about him at the convention, all that. You know, gave this man championship belts, rings and shit. How you think they make that shit? WBC got expenses. You know, they got people that they have to pay. And they just make money fall from the sky and say, oh, well, you know, we're going to make some belts. You know, let's pray to God and hope, you know, she showers us with dollar bills, makes it rain. No. All right. So that's it, guys. This is not how the world works. You don't get to say what you're going to pay. You know, people set their prices and you can agree or disagree. If he didn't agree to it, he should have said it up front, and then he wouldn't have fought for undisputed. He wouldn't have fought for the title, but he didn't do that. This is what he intended to do all along. All right? You know? It's a bad example to set, man. People thinking that they can just say what they're going to pay and shit, man. You know? You're watching this video. If you're doing a job for somebody, and you tell them, you know, they got to pay you $1,000 to do it, and then they say, oh, well, this person said that, you know, they're going to charge you $500, you know, so can you match that? Are you going to take $500 less? Huh? Or are you going to say, nah, I charge $1,000 and that's it? And I have reasons why, you know? Shit, you see this job I'm doing? Hell, you think I'm going to do it for half the money? Huh? Hell no. All right. WBC ain't got to go along with what the other sanctioning bodies are doing, and I don't blame them. If they want to take a discount or whatever, or you know, less, that's on them. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. I'll check in soon. Thanks for watching.